let's talk about your driving test day then, because you've waited for it. I mean, it's 2025 now, and it's coming up pretty quick. It could be in the next few weeks, it could be in the next few days, it could be in a few months from now. I don't know the date of your test, but you need to remember that on the day of your test, you bring your driving license. If you're going to use your own car, you've got to make sure the car's roadworthy for driving. There's no bald tyres, there's nothing on the dashboard that's showing up that shouldn't be on there. There should be no red lights on there, that shouldn't be on there. No amber lights, that shouldn't be on there. It should be nice and clear. The seatbelt should be working, the head restraint should be in place. So that if you do turn up in your car, they're not going to turn around and say to you, I can't accept your nap because of this. Make sure it's insured and taxed. It's quite a common fault that some people do. They'll turn up and there'll be something wrong with the car, or it's not taxed or insured. So if you're going to take your own car, make sure that it's actually in a good place. And if you've got a spare interior mirror for the examiner, bring that along too. Make sure you put L plates on the front and back. Have a spare set in the boot, so if they fly off on the way to test centre, you've got a spare set, otherwise you're going to panic. If you're using an instructor car, these things will all be taken care of, so don't worry about that. So that's kind of just to help cover that. Now, on the day of your test, obviously make sure if you're going to use an instructor, that instructor is available. The amount of times I get phone calls from parents, can you help me out? My son or daughter's got a test in a few days, instructor's not available. So speak to your instructor, make sure they're on board with the time and date. Make sure they're not on holiday or they haven't got another test that day, because I had someone the other week, book me driving test 8:10. When is it? Such of it. Why don't you speak to me first? I've already got a test at 9 o'clock in the morning. So make sure your instructor's on board. And obviously if your instructor's on board, then fantastic. Now on the actual driving test itself, if your test is, let's say, 10 o'clock, then you want to be driving to that test centre 5 minutes before. If you start driving in 10-15 minutes before, the examiner's going to be there and saying to you, turn around, get back out, you're in the way of other people. You've got your instructor with you, or you're going in your own car. That we're clear about now. You just got to remember that the test lasts 40 minutes from the minute you turn that engine on to when you get back at the test centre. And you're there to drive the best you've ever driven. And the examiner's there to assess you for 40 minutes. And there's going to be a manoeuvre in there, possibly emergency stop in there. You're going to be doing some driving around country roads, possibly, depending on the route. You're going to be possibly doing some driving on dual carriageways, depends if there are dual carriageways in your area, fast roads, slow roads, and sound sensors at the same time. So expect all these problems, and remember, the manoeuvres, one manoeuvre they're going to ask you to do. So don't forget that one either. If you can't do your manoeuvres, get them practicing so that you know that you're going to do. And the show me questions, don't forget your show me questions. The examiner's going to ask you a question at the beginning before you set off, and they're going to ask you a question when you're driving, aren't they? And the show me questions are pretty straightforward. I'll put a link in the description to my website with the full set of questions on if you want to read them. And they'll also give you an eyesight test at the beginning before you even get in the car. So you need to be able to read a reg plate from 20.5 metres away. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to get in the car, are you? So if you wear glasses for distance, make sure you bring them along. If it says that on your driving licence, make sure you bring them. Okay? And when you're on that driving test, if you make a mistake, it's gone. All you can do is concentrate on driving safely at this point, haven't you? Because if you don't concentrate on your driving safely, all what you're going to do is think about, oh God, I made a mistake there. And before you know it, another mistake straight away. So don't worry about the mistake that's gone. Concentrate on keeping yourself safe. And remember, they're going to pull you over 4 or 5 times. They're going to check that when you're moving off, you're checking round safely. You're signalling if you need to. When you're pulling over, you're checking your mirrors. You're signalling if you need to. You're pulling over at a safe place, not opposite a parked car, blocking the road, not opposite a junction, not on WL lines. You know the score. You know these things. You practice them already. If you're in an area that's got lots of hills, don't be surprised. You're going to get at least one hill start. If you're not very good at hill starts, get practicing them, because if you're not, you're going to roll backwards or stall, and you'll be gutted if you fail for hill starts. If there's lots of parked cars in the area with the roads where you are, you've got to be good at meeting situations where you can go around cars safely without getting too close, not blocking problems. So all these things, you know what to do. that's why you're taking your test. Okay? Good luck on the roads, good luck on the driving test, and remember, the examiner's not going to tell you whether you passed or failed until you get to the end of the test. And then when you've secured the car, turn the engine off, that's when they say to you, I'll just be a minute while I just fill this paperwork in, and then I'll tell you whether you passed or failed. And at that point, they'll say to you, congratulations, you passed. This is what your faults are, if you've got any. And they'll ask you for your license at that point, and they'll process your license for you. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you get your new license. Fantastic. But you can start driving straight away if you wanted to. You know, if you want to get your car insured at that point, you have to change insurance though, remember? Or you can get an examiner saying to you, unfortunately, you've not passed this time. You just got a series for this, you need to go away and work on it, rebook your test, and you'll get an email saying this is what you failed for. Okay, so work on that fault before you get your next test. Good luck on the driving test, and I hope 2025 is your year. Okay, safe driving.